All right, part two to this was boss firing events. So the very last thing we did in part one, as in steps 1 through 6, was we added this destroy boss on start. Now, what we're going to need to do, and I learned this because I just ran through this all and I like 12 hours of why is my game not working. It all came down to this. This stem fuse instructions, I'm not sure if they make it clear. We need to take this boss and we need to move him right here. That's going to say that when our game starts, we're going to destroy the enemy, we're going to destroy the boss, and then we're actually going to start the game. So I'm going to show that again. This is really, really important. Your game's not going to work properly without it. Take your boss from step 6 and just move him up here. Boom. Nice. So the next thing we're going to do is if you play your game, you'll see that when you fire at your boss, nothing's actually happening. So we need to do a few things. Simply add an action after the boss is created for the boss object to telling the game to stop the boss animation. So if you notice, your boss will like flip through all 3 costumes. So we definitely know how to do this. We are coming over here. We created the boss in the wave system, so we're looking about line 26, and we're going to add another action to this one, your wave modulus 2, and what this is going to be is you're going to set the frame of your boss, and it's going to be, not set the frame, you're going to stop the frame. So again, take this, and you're going to move it right up here. I'll show that one more time. You're going to take it, you just created it, you're going to move it right after you create the object. So you create the object and then you freeze them at the frame. Now, boss can't destroy player. Alright, so that means we need to add some bullet collisions. So we're going to add a player on collision with boss event. So we're in here in our event sheet for bullet collisions, and we're going to add a brand new event. Notice I closed this one just to help me kind of like keep my organization. So add an event, and when the player bullet collides with, so that's on collision with another object, when the player bullet hits the boss, we want the player bullet to destroy. Okay, create a boss bullet on collision with player. So brand new event, we're going to say, well, when the boss's bullet collides with, so on collision, when the boss's bullet collides with the player, we are going to destroy the player and destroy the boss bullet. So player, this is an easy one, destroy. And then we're also going to destroy we're looking at the boss bullet here, so we're going to destroy that boss bullet. Yeah, stem fuse notes. I wish I would have wrote these because we don't want to destroy the enemy bullet. That would make no sense. They meant boss bullet right here. So we're going to add a little more because the boss isn't going to go away with just one hit. So we're going to actually add some health to the boss. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the boss and we're going to add another instance variable. So double clicking opens up the animation editor. That's not what we want. We want to add another instance variable, which is in that properties bar. I keep getting rid of mine because I don't have enough space. So what I do is I go to menu, view, bars, properties. And now when you bring it down, it doesn't look correct because I need to make sure that I'm on the boss. When you click on the boss, you'll see that, here we go, we're going to add another instance variable, and this one's going to be health. So we're going to set the health to 25. You can set it to anything you'd like, and this is how many times the player is going to have to hit the boss until the boss is defeated. 25. That's kind of a lot. Like, that's why we were first playing this game, we're like, does this even work? Yeah, it does. It's just after 25 hits of the boss. And now we're going to add an action. So honestly, I'm going to get rid of this properties bar. I just don't have enough room for it. So add an action in the player bullet on collision with boss. So coming over here, when the player bullet collides with the boss, we want another thing to happen. We are going to subtract 1 from the boss health, and that's our instance variable. So we're going to click on the boss. We're going to come to the instance variable, and we're going to subtract from health, and we're going to subtract 1 from the health. So every time the player collides with the boss, we are going to lose 1 from the boss's health. Rock on. All right, destroy boss sub-event. So we're going to add a sub-event inside the player on collision boss event. This is going to say, well, if the boss health is 0, destroy the boss. So, player bullet, collision with boss. What we're going to do is I'm going to highlight this whole event, right-click on your Chromebook, that's a 2-finger middle click. We're going to do add a sub-event, and this is when the boss's health, so you're going to click on the boss's health, or the boss, and we're going to say compare instance variable, and you could say is equal to or less than, or just equal, because like once it's 0, he's going to get defeated. We're not ever going to be able to get less than 0. It wouldn't make sense for his health to get to like negative numbers, so I'm just going to say is equal to. If you want to say is less than or equal to, that's fine. But definitely we want that or equal to part. So if the boss, and I know that this is correctly a subgroup because if I click that arrow, it goes away. So if the boss's health is 0, we want to destroy the boss. All right. On boss destroyed sub-event. So in the bullet collisions group, go ahead and create another sub-event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this bullet collisions, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say add a sub-event. And go ahead, create a sub-event with the condition of if the boss is destroyed. So I'm going to say boss. And this one I'm now using on destroyed. So this is in the miscellaneous. I'll type it up here just so you really make sure you're doing it correctly. When the boss is destroyed, so boss on destroyed, we're going to subtract 1 from the global variable. So that's system and subtract from the enemies. Because there's only 1 enemy on the screen right now, and if we beat the boss, well then that value has got to go to 0. So now what we're going to do is, well, once the boss is destroyed, we want to talk about what do we want the game to do next. So to do this, we're going to add a sub-event to the boss on destroyed. So now we're working with this boss on destroyed. We're going to right-click or 2-finger middle click on your Chromebook. We're going to do add another sub-event. And this is for when enemies is equal to 0. So system, compare variable, because I'm comparing if my enemies is equal to 0, aka we destroyed the boss since we subtracted 1 from that global variable. 1 minus 1 is 0. So once this happens, we want to do some things. We're going to add some actions. We're going to set the enemy movement group to deactivated. So that is, let me double check. Yep, we're going to do system for all 4 of these things. So we're going to go to the system, set group. It's called set group active, but it gives you a chance to do deactivated. And so this is going to be enemy movement. State is deactivated. Good. We're going to wait 3 seconds. We're going to add 1 to the wave, and then we're going to add 1 to the boss type. So system, wait 3 seconds. System, add to wave. So we're like increasing the next wave by 1, and then we're going to change the boss type. So again, system, add to, this is your global variable for boss type, and 1 to the value. That's just saying that after we beat the first boss, now we're moving on in the game. Here we go. Last little bit. Enemies equals 0 sub-events and save. Okay, so now that we've got the enemy equals 0 sub-event, aka this one, we need to check for specific values to keep track of which boss the player is playing. Right-click on the enemies equals 0 sub-event, and add another sub-event. Alright, so I'm going to do this. I'm right-clicking, add a sub-event. That handles the boss type variable greater than 2. So, system, this is going to be compare variable. Boss type is greater than 2, because there is no boss type greater than 2. We only have type 0, 1, and 2. So if it's greater than 2, then we're going to set the boss type back to 0. So we're kind of like creating this like boss type loop of 0, 1, 2, and then it resets. So this will be set value of boss type back to 0. Drum roll, we're almost done. All right, and then we're going to do what we did a few weeks ago. We're going to add a blank sub-event. So right here, we are going to re-click on this enemy equals 0, right-click, add a blank sub-event, and so make sure this indentation lines up right here. You're going to add, you're going to start the wave function, and bam, there you go. We've just completed enemy fire. So go ahead, file, save. Maybe you're like me and you want to, kind of keep track of all your things now that you're getting through the end. So Star Defenders, boss firing complete. The reason I'm saving in like increments like this is because if I mess up somewhere in my game, at least I know like that this one's good to go and there's no bugs in it. Well, I haven't played it yet. 5 minutes till class. Da, 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 da. So what we just did was once we, so the whole purpose of this lesson is once you destroy all these enemies, check that out. If you didn't move the boss, like that destroy boss, up, like I told you to do, the boss would have appeared right now. And that's because of the math behind the game. 1, 2, 3. He should take 25 hits. I'm going to have to increase the difficulty of this in the future. 1, 2, 3. And there you go. I've got the second wave. You'll see that I've got 5 extra guys. If I was to delete all these, I would get another boss. I'm not even going to win this. Maybe I will. All right, come on. Be impressive. So I'm playing this through because I want you to see that my next boss will not be pink. That was the first frame. Ah! That was terrifying. Maybe it's green or blue. 1, 2, 3. Green! And check that out. He's got new bullets. Cool.